Sit with yourself. If you have conflict, if you have issues, if you have confusion, ask yourself those questions. Because the more you understand you, the more you can understand your situation, and the more somebody else can understand you. Hello, classmates. It's your host, Jasmine Camber, and welcome back to another episode of What School Didn't Teach Me. Class is officially in session. So, let's talk. Today's episode is about transparency and communication. If you listen to Mind, Body, Soul, which had the Venusian Vault invited to it, and honestly, if you've listened to the past episodes, I've had open, honest, and transparent moments with you all in the classroom. So I always say, we keep it open, honest, and transparent in the classroom, but what does that really mean, right? Like, open, yes, keep it open-minded. Let's talk about things that aren't usually talked about, yes. Honest, okay, I'm going to tell you the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God, cool. But transparent, wasn't that the same thing as honesty? To me, no. To me, honesty is knowing the truth as you know it, right? Like, to be honest, it's almost like you have to know to be honest. Even if the honest truth is that you don't know, you have to know. Transparency is a little more broad. So even if you don't know, you're sharing the ideas that are coming to you, or at least that's how I see it. When I have transparent moments, I might still be figuring things out, but I'm willing to vocalize them. I'm willing to talk about them. Excuse my voice, guys. I'm going through some difficulties, and I can hear it in my voice. But when I'm having a transparent moment, I may not have it all figured out. When I'm giving an honest opinion, I have sat there and thought through it and sat on it and dissected my thoughts and opinions and feelings. And most times when I'm having a transparent moment, I'm inviting somebody to almost help me figure it out, or give me a little bit of insight, or help me see things from a different way or perspective. I talked about it on Silent Killer. So the Venusian Vault and I have had 2 collaborated episodes. We had Mind, Body, and Soul on What School Didn't Teach Me. And then we had Silent Killer on the Venusian Vault. If you have not listened to that yet, you really should. I really enjoyed it. I was so grateful to be there and to record that episode. And I really felt like it did something for me and my inner child. But on Silent Killer, I talked about how if my last relationship didn't teach me anything, it taught me that I could be transparent. Even when it was hard, even when I couldn't figure it out, if I have a thought, it's okay for me to just spit it out sometimes. And I will figure it out with that person. You know what I'm saying? I will figure it out. I'm inviting somebody to help me so that I'm not doing certain things on my own. And it has changed the way I've communicated forever. Like, I promise y'all, I'll never go back. Because I am officially out of the I'll figure it out all by myself era. Yes, there are some things that I still want to figure out on my own. But for the most part, we are in this world for community. To be a community to each other. And if I can be a community for other people, why would I not utilize the community and the support that's around me? So it's completely changed the way that I communicate with other people. I let it be known if I don't have something figured out, but I still voice my opinion, or I voice my need or my concern in an effort to be transparent, just so everybody knows where I stand. Everybody knows where my head is at. There's no confusion on what's going on in my head because I voiced it. I voiced it in the rawest way I know how. And that's really what transparency is. It's raw. It's not blunt. We're going to get to that in a minute. It's not necessarily blunt. People disguise rudeness as being blunt. That's a whole different conversation, and we'll get into that later. But it's raw. It's honest to my present, right? If I don't have it figured out, I'm going to let you know that, because that's what's going on in my present. Instead of me leaving you confused and me being confused on the inside, I'm just let you know. I don't know. I'm unsure. I need help. Even if I say, I'm uncomfortable asking for this, but I need help. Just so you know where I stand. I find that it's the best way for me to communicate the things that I feel so that people can understand me better. I used to be the type of person, I didn't want people to understand me. I didn't want people to get to know me. People used to try to get to know me, and I used to tell them to stop. But now I really enjoy people getting to understand me better, or getting to know me better, getting to know the raw, authentic, and truthful versions of me, because I'm a human being. I'm a human being, and I really adore being treated as such. So let's get into it, right? Let's talk about transparency and communication. I wrote a couple points down on how to, I guess, encourage y'all to be more transparent, or at least the nuggets that I've picked up along the way. 1, communication is key, but so is listening and willingness to comprehend. Communication is defined as, or to communicate means to share or exchange information, news, or ideas, right? But what good is that if we are just bouncing ideas off of each other but nobody's listening? It's like talking to a brick wall. That's why people say we should be listening to understand and not listening to respond. Because while communicating your thoughts and ideas is important, that's the first step. But for us to be able to listen to each other will actually solve problems. And a lot of times we'll run around issues because we're not actually listening to each other. We just want to get our emotions out. We just want to talk things out. And yes, dissect your emotions. Let them be heard, felt, and seen. But when it's time to communicate, or when somebody else is equally trying to share, don't forget to listen. Don't forget to listen. But then we also have the willingness to comprehend. So yes, you can be listening, but do you understand what I'm saying? So I guess there's 3 parts of this, right? There's 3 parts to communication. There's speaking, there's listening, and then there's comprehending. Voicing your opinion is one thing. Listening is another. But then comprehending, or someone else comprehending what we're saying, is extremely important to solving whatever issue or conflict or confrontation or just conversation that we're having, right? Are you empathetic to what I'm saying to you? Are you open and understanding to what I'm saying to you? You can be talking to someone and giving them the honest to God truth about what's going on with you, and they won't believe you, or they won't trust what you're saying because they can't comprehend what you're saying to them. Those people exist. And you have to learn when a conversation is over. And the conversation usually ends when people are no longer trying to comprehend what you're saying. They're just trying to respond to what you're saying without really understanding where you're coming from. That's when a conversation is over. Because now we're about to run around in circles and we're about to argue with each other. And I don't know about y'all. I really just don't want to deal with that. On the flip side, we also have to be willing to comprehend, right? So we have to be mindful when other people are trying to twist our words and not listening to what we're really saying. But then we also have to be open to what other people are telling us. Whether it's criticism or concern, we also have to be open. We have to learn that we may not be the victims in every situation, and that some people are trying to help us. But it's up to us to decide the difference between those things, between help and harm. So here's my next point. When in doubt, be transparent. I feel like I already said this, but my friends still consider me to be a very private person. And I think it's so funny because I feel like I tell my friends a lot of things. But I know growing up, I didn't grow up sharing a lot of information about myself. I was very much to myself, and I kept things to myself. Like, I have my select group of people that I trusted, but I didn't always trust them. I didn't always trust them or myself enough to talk about certain situations or to be open and honest about how I felt, because I didn't know how other people would take how I felt. But as I've grown up, I've learned that if people can't take your emotions, or if people can't take your confusion or your conflict, then they don't really need to be around you. And when I say they can't take it, I don't mean like we are offloading on them and they cannot handle it. No. I mean, can you still function when I turn my brain off? Can you still function? Can we still function properly when I'm unsure? Can you still be patient with me as I'm trying to figure things out? If I'm not able to give 150% like usual, will we still stand strong? If the answer is no, then you need to let them kick rocks. But hello. That's the phrase of the classroom. Kick rocks. Let them kick rocks. Okay? So when in doubt, be transparent. In every relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it is a romantic relationship, whether it's a relationship with your parents, be open. And I know when it comes to parents, like, we didn't choose our parents. So it's harder to accept or absorb or handle when they aren't as open to our honest truths or our uncertainty or when we're trying to figure things out. But prayerfully, you have parents or family members who will work with you in moments like that, who will be patient with you in moments like that. And me personally, I had to learn how to give my mom a chance, right? Like, me and my mom were just talking about that. How now, yes, she's my mom, but now that I'm older, we have a certain type of friendship going, or a more lax relationship where I feel like I can be open and honest with her about the things that are going on with my life, about the things that I plan on doing, and I really appreciate that. But it wasn't always like that. I used to be very scared to tell her things. I never knew how she would react. And so for a long time, she would tell me that I really didn't give her a chance to react in a calm manner or in a way that she would like to. And she may be right. But that's why I'm telling y'all to just give your family a chance. And it's hard to be disappointed, but I pray you're not disappointed. I pray that when you decide to be open and honest with your family or with the people around you, that you get the response that you need to help you move forward in growth. So anyway, friendship should be the easiest place to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable or transparent. They should be. Like, if y'all can laugh and kiki and have dark humor and all that other stuff, y'all should be able to talk about life. Y'all should be able to be open to each other. Especially if you're listening to this podcast. If you are listening to the words that I'm saying, but you're not being open, honest, and transparent with the people around you, with your friends, then maybe you should try. Just give it a try. It's hard being vulnerable. I was telling somebody recently, it's hard for me to be vulnerable on this podcast. Every week, I put my heart and my life experiences out for other people to listen and prayerfully relate to, and prayerfully learn from, and prayerfully share with the people around them so that they can start the conversation, so that they know they're not alone in this. Remember that you're not alone in this. I promise you, your friends don't have it figured out. And if you have friends around you who can come to you with their problems, but you don't feel like you can come to them with your problems, ask yourself why. And if the answer is because you never gave them the chance to handle your problems, then give them the chance. But if the answer is that they don't have the capacity to help you with your problems, let them kick rocks. Let them kick rocks, y'all. But really assess it. Assess it first. Because I have almost lost friends because I deemed them to be unhelpful. But the truth was I wasn't giving them a chance to get to know me to be helpful. And now my relationships with those people have completely changed. So with that, surround yourself with people who will help you figure it out. This life thing is hard. This life thing is hard, and honestly, sometimes all I can do is tell you what I think. Even if what I think is contradicting. Like, y'all, when I say it is so refreshing to walk into spaces, I was talking to my mock trial coach one day. Because she was asking me about how I felt on my position on the team. And I told her, I'm going to be very honest and transparent with you right now. And I told her exactly how I felt. Raw, authentic to how I felt the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I let her know, like, I don't like for people to get a misunderstanding about me. So I will lay it all on the line so that you understand that I have already thought about the pros and cons and both sides of the spectrum and all that other stuff before I even came to you with this issue. So, like, we were having the conversation, and I was telling her, I don't feel good about where I am. This is why I don't feel good about where I am. And sometimes I don't want to come to practice. I don't want to come to practice because I feel like I'm just wasting my time, or I feel irritated when I walk through the door. But I also know that I just had a full day ahead of me where I was irritated by people before I walked in the door. And I know that has a piece of it. I know that plays a part. So I try to put those things to the side when I come in this room, because when I come in this room, I come in this room to serve a purpose. And it was refreshing. It's refreshing to release what's in your head. I try to do it in a way that's not me offloading on people, but it's refreshing to share my open and honest ideas and to let people know this is how my brain works. This is how I operate. So when I show up a certain way in this space, understand where I'm coming from. I enjoy letting people understand me now. I really do. And it's so interesting because high school me would be like, what, girl? Honestly, I think high school me would think that I'm very audacious. And I am so grateful for that, because I think high school me dreamed of having the space to feel comfortable enough to share what she was really thinking and what she was really struggling with, and to reach out for help from her friends and really from her mom, and be open to it and be welcoming of it and not feel like there was motive behind what people were doing for her. So yeah, I love it. I love the concept of transparency. It literally has never failed me. Like, when I tell y'all, just saying what I think right out on the line, filtered, y'all, not blunt, actually not filtered, not blunt, transparent. I don't know how to verbalize the difference between blunt and transparent. But y'all know, I know y'all have interacted with somebody who says, I'm just being blunt. I'm just being honest. And if you can't take it, that's your problem. Now, who popped up in your head? Not like that, okay? Not like that. I mean, I have these thoughts and I'm just going to share them the best way I know how. I have these opinions and I'm going to share them the best way I know how, with my ideas and thoughts coming behind them. So you know how I got to this opinion. I hope y'all hear the difference in the way that I'm talking. And if not, let me know, because we'll do a little research together. But yeah, when in doubt, be transparent and surround yourself with people who will help you figure it out. If you have people around you who are feeding off you but can't help you figure things out, what do? Make them kick rocks. Exactly. Kick rocks. Exactly. I had a whole point in here about how transparency does not equal bluntness, but I feel like I keep covering that. So hopefully we understand the difference. Like, you can be open without being rude to people. You can be honest without projecting your own hurt or your own feelings. I think that's what it is. Like, I feel like when people say they're being blunt, they're really projecting a lot of anger onto a situation, a lot of anger or irritation or insecurity onto a situation, and disguising it with an idea or an opinion, And transparency is more so introspective. Like, transparency is a little more inviting than bluntness. You can be open without being rude. But I've done a whole lot of talk about being transparent, right? But how do we do that? How do we get to a point where we are comfortable enough sharing our honest and rawest ideas without judgment? And as it's been said on Mind, Body, and Soul, be with yourself. Assess and dissect your own feelings and emotions. to decide where your thoughts are coming from. Because you can't tell somebody how you feel if you don't know why you feel this way. Well, no. I take that back. You can. It's completely okay to tell somebody how you feel if you don't know why you feel that way. But let that be known. That's a part of transparency. But it's best to sit with your ideas, thoughts, and feelings and figure out where they're coming from and identify them. Figure out what may have triggered me, what may have upset me, what made me start feeling this way. Why am I questioning what I think or how I feel? Why am I questioning what I think or how I feel? What am I uncertain about? What do I actually feel? Why am I hesitant to talk about how I feel? Am I scared to hurt this person's feelings? Am I scared to be honest with myself? Am I scared to address that there's an actual concern? Because if there's an actual concern, we need to fix it, and I don't want to fix it. Sit with yourself. If you have conflict, if you have issues, if you have confusion, ask yourself those questions. Because the more you understand you, the more you can understand your situation, and the more somebody else can understand you, you know? So take that time, really think. And honestly, I would suggest that you separate your anxiety from your reality. Thoughts produced out of anxious incidents are not always reality. And it's important for us to be able to identify what is truth and what is in our head. And that can also help us be a lot more honest with ourselves and with other people. Yeah. As a girl who used to keep everything to herself, now for me to walk into spaces and to just be like, honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I'm unsure. Honestly, I feel this way and I don't like that I feel this way. Honestly, I want to change certain things about this dynamic, but I don't know how to do it. Or I want to change certain things about this dynamic, but I need your help. It's helped me ask for help, and that has not always been easy for me. So when you be transparent, you invite people to help you, to figure things out. You are no longer on your own in this world. We have got to stop believing we are on our own in this world. That whole you come in alone, you die alone thing, that's dead. I don't like that mindset. That's dead. That's dead. Let people get to know you. Let people help you. You deserve to feel the weight lifted off your shoulders when you find that sometimes the people around you are just waiting for you to open your mouth and tell them what you think. So, tell them what you think. Go out and try it. Be transparent. Next time you have a concern or an idea, share it. Share it with the person next to you. Share it with your best friend. Share it with your boyfriend, with your mom, with your girlfriend. But don't try to figure everything out by yourself. Don't. It's not helpful. Like, yes, you can do it. You're fully capable. There's no doubt about that. But why do it? If you can find people around you who you can trust to be yourself around or to hang out with every day. Heck, sometimes we hang out with people and we don't even trust them with our ideas and feelings. Then stop hanging out with them. Or give them a chance to absorb your ideas and feelings. Moral of the story, ask for help. Be transparent. Let people in. Be vulnerable. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, this is meant to be a conversation. So as much as I talk to you, I would love for y'all to talk back to me. Message us on Instagram and Twitter at WSDTM Pod. Or send us an email at whatschooldidn'tteachme@gmail.com. Better yet, send this episode to a friend and start the conversation there. And let's see what we can learn from each other. If you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe and give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on. Trust me, it matters. Oops, there goes the bell. I can't wait to hear from y'all, and I'll see you next week.